Ancient Egypt is one of the oldest and most famous civilizations in the world. It began thousands of years ago along the banks of the Nile River in northeastern Africa. The Nile was very important because it provided water, food, and fertile land for farming. Without the Nile, life in Egypt would have been very difficult. Ancient Egypt is known for its pyramids, pharaohs, temples, and unique culture. This civilization developed slowly over time. People started as small groups of hunters and gatherers, and then they learned how to farm, build cities, and create a complex society. Egyptian culture, religion, and politics influenced many other civilizations that came after them. Before we dive into the fascinating world of ancient Egypt, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more amazing history videos. Trust me, you won't want to miss the secrets of the pharaohs and the mysteries of the Nile. Early humans in the Sahara. Long ago, thousands of years before the famous pyramids, the Sahara Desert was very different from today. It was not a dry desert. Instead, it had rivers, lakes, and green grasslands. Many animals lived there, like antelopes, fish, and birds. Early humans found this area full of food and water, so they started living there. These early humans were hunters and gatherers. They hunted animals for meat and collected fruits, seeds, and plants to eat. Their life depended on finding enough food every day, so they often moved from one place to another. They had to follow the animals and look for areas with water and plants. As time passed, people learned new skills. They discovered how to control fire. Fire kept them warm, helped them cook food, and protected them from wild animals. They also started making simple tools from stones and bones. These tools helped them hunt, cut wood, and prepare food. Early humans also learned how to build shelters. At first, they used natural caves or trees, but later they made small huts from branches, mud, and leaves. These shelters protected them from harsh weather and wild animals. Learning to live in one place made life safer and easier. Over time, some groups of humans began to settle near rivers, especially the Nile River. The Nile provided fresh water, fish, and fertile soil for growing plants. People realized that farming near the river was much easier than constantly moving to find food. This was the first step toward a permanent settlement. Settling near the Nile allowed humans to grow crops like wheat and barley. They also started keeping animals like goats and cattle. These early farms and villages became the foundation of what would later grow into ancient Egyptian civilization. The life along the Nile marked the beginning of a new, organized way of living. The Nile River and farming. The Nile River was very important for the people of ancient Egypt. It flowed from the south to the north and finally reached the Mediterranean Sea. Every year, the river would overflow and flood its banks. When the water went down, it left behind dark, rich soil called silt. This soil was perfect for growing crops like wheat, barley, and flax. Because of the Nile, farmers could grow more food than they needed for themselves. This extra food, called surplus, allowed villages to grow bigger. People could store the extra crops for future use, and it helped the population increase. Small villages slowly turned into towns as more people settled near the river. The surplus food also encouraged trade. Farmers and villagers could trade their extra crops with nearby regions for other goods they needed. This trade helped people get materials like tools, pottery, and luxury items. The Nile made it easy to transport goods using boats, which made trading faster and safer. The Nile River was also a natural highway for travel. Boats could move up and down the river, allowing people to communicate and connect with other villages and towns. This easy transportation helped different parts of Egypt share ideas, goods, and culture. Over time, the Nile helped Egypt become a united kingdom. People could live in one place, grow enough food, and communicate with others along the river. The river's regular flooding, fertile soil, and easy transportation made life better and helped ancient Egypt grow into a powerful civilization. The first kingdoms of Egypt. Around 3100 BC, Egypt was divided into two parts, Upper Egypt in the south and Lower Egypt in the north. These two regions were united by the first pharaoh, King Menes, also called Narmer. This important event marked the start of Egypt's early dynastic period, which was the beginning of a long and powerful civilization. Pharaohs were the rulers of Egypt. They were not only kings but also religious leaders. People believed pharaohs were gods living on earth. Because of this, pharaohs had complete power and were respected by everyone. Their role was very important in both government and religion. During this time, Egyptians created a writing system called hieroglyphs. Hieroglyphs were pictures that represented words and sounds. People used them to write about important events, religious stories, and official records. This was one of the first ways humans could keep history and communicate over long distances. Early Egyptians also built tombs for their dead called mastabas. These were small, rectangular structures made of mud bricks. Egyptians believed in life after death, so they placed items like food, tools, and clothes in the tombs. They thought the dead would need these things in the next world. Belief in life after death became very important in Egyptian culture. It influenced how people lived and how they buried their loved ones. These early kingdoms and their customs set the stage for the great pharaohs and massive pyramids that would come in later times. The Old Kingdom Pyramid Age. The Old Kingdom lasted from about 2686 BCE to 2181 BCE. It is often called the Pyramid Age because Egyptians built many large pyramids during this time. These pyramids were the tombs of pharaohs, designed to show their power and help them in the afterlife. The most famous pyramid is the Great Pyramid of Giza. It was built for Pharaoh Khufu and is still one of the largest structures ever made by humans. Building pyramids required thousands of workers, careful planning, and many years to complete. Pharaohs had complete control over the country during the Old Kingdom. They made laws, collected taxes, and organized big projects like pyramid construction. Pharaohs were also considered gods, so everyone respected and obeyed them. Egyptian society was very organized. Farmers grew crops along the Nile and provided food for the people. Craftsmen made tools, jewelry, and statues. Priests performed religious ceremonies, and soldiers protected the country. Every person had an important role. The Nile River continued to be very important. It provided water for farming, which helped produce enough food for everyone. People traded goods along the river, making Egypt richer and stronger. The Old Kingdom eventually started to weaken. Some pharaohs were not strong leaders, and there were problems like high taxes and droughts. These problems made it hard to maintain order and large building projects. Because of these difficulties, the Old Kingdom ended. Egypt became divided, and local leaders fought for control. This period of division and conflict is called the First Intermediate Period, which lasted until a new strong pharaoh reunited Egypt. The Middle Kingdom Golden Age of Stability. Around 2055 BC, Egypt was reunited after a period of division. This started the Middle Kingdom, which lasted until about 1650 BC. During this time, pharaohs were seen as caring leaders who wanted to protect their people and make life better. Pharaohs focused on improving farming. They built canals and irrigation systems to control the flooding of the Nile. This made it easier to grow more crops and feed the population. Farming became more efficient, and people had enough food to live comfortably. Trade became very important in the Middle Kingdom. Egypt traded with nearby regions like Nubia and the Levant. Through trade, Egyptians got new goods such as gold, ivory, and wood. They also exchanged ideas and cultural practices with other peoples. Art and literature grew a lot during this time. Egyptians wrote stories, poems, and religious texts. Many of these works are still studied today. Artists created beautiful statues, paintings, and decorated tombs that showed their skill and creativity. Tombs became more elaborate, and Egyptians continued to believe strongly in life after death. They buried people with items they might need in the next world. Just like before, religion remained an important part of daily life and culture. The Middle Kingdom made Egypt stronger and more organized. Farmers, traders, artists, and officials all played important roles. This period helped prepare Egypt for later times when it would become even more powerful and wealthy. The New Kingdom Empire and Pharaohs. The New Kingdom lasted from 1550 BCE to 1070 BCE. It was the most powerful and famous time in Egyptian history. Egypt became an empire, controlling lands in Nubia, Syria, and Palestine. Pharaohs were not just kings but were also seen as gods on earth. Many famous pharaohs lived during this time. Hatshepsut was one of the few female pharaohs. She ruled peacefully and focused on building temples and improving trade. Her reign was strong and helped Egypt grow. Thutmose III was a great warrior pharaoh. He led many successful military campaigns and expanded Egypt's empire. His rule helped make Egypt one of the strongest nations in the ancient world. Ramses II, also called Ramses the Great, was known as a great builder and warrior. He created huge temples, monuments, and statues. Many of his buildings, like the temples at Abu Simbel, still stand today and show how powerful he was. During the New Kingdom, there were some religious changes too. Pharaoh Akhenaten tried to change Egypt's religion to worship only the sun god, Aten. This was very different because Egyptians usually worshipped many gods. After Akhenaten died, Egypt went back to its traditional religion. The New Kingdom made Egypt very rich, powerful, and famous. Trade, art, and culture grew a lot. Pharaohs built huge temples, decorated tombs, and left a legacy that people still admire today. This period is remembered as the height of ancient Egyptian civilization. This was very different because Egyptians usually worshipped many gods. After Akhenaten died, Egypt went back to its traditional religion. The New Kingdom made Egypt very rich, powerful, and famous. Trade, art, and culture grew a lot. Pharaohs built huge temples, decorated tombs, and left a legacy that people still admire today. This period is remembered as the height of ancient Egyptian civilization. Religion was very important. Egyptians believed in many gods, each controlling different parts of life, such as Ra sun god, Osiris god of the afterlife, and Isis goddess of magic and healing. They believed in life after death, so they mummified bodies and built tombs with treasures. Education and writing were mostly for the wealthy and priests. Tombs with treasures. Education and writing were mostly for the wealthy and priests. Hieroglyphs were used for important documents, while simpler scripts like hieratic were used for everyday writing. Art was highly symbolic, showing gods, pharaohs, and important events. Trade and economy. Egypt's economy was mainly based on farming. The Nile River was very important because it provided water and fertile soil. Farmers grew crops like wheat, barley, flax, and papyrus. These crops fed the people and were also used to make other important items. Papyrus was a special plant that grew along the Nile. Egyptians used it to make paper for writing. This helped them keep records, write stories, and send messages. It was one of the most important products of Egypt. Trade was another key part of the economy. Egypt traded with nearby regions to get goods they did not have. They traded for gold, copper, cedar wood, and luxury items like jewelry and perfumes. Trade routes were very important for connecting Egypt to other lands. Traders traveled to Nubia in the south, across the Mediterranean, and to the Middle East. This brought new products, ideas, and culture to Egypt. Markets were common in towns and villages. People sold food, tools, clothing, and other items. Trade and markets helped Egypt grow rich and strong and made life easier for everyone. The decline of ancient Egypt. After the New Kingdom, Egypt went through a long period of decline. Weak pharaohs, invasions, and internal conflicts made Egypt vulnerable. Around 1070 BCE, Egypt became divided, and foreign powers began to influence it. Over the next centuries, Egypt was ruled by various foreign powers, including the Nubians, Assyrians, and Persians. Although Egyptian culture continued, its power and independence were greatly reduced. Cleopatra and the Roman conquest. The final chapter of ancient Egypt's history is closely linked to Cleopatra VII, the last pharaoh. Cleopatra was smart, politically skilled, and determined to protect Egypt from foreign control. She ruled during a time when Rome was becoming very powerful. Cleopatra formed alliances with Roman leaders like Julius Caesar and Mark Antony to strengthen her position. However, her efforts could not stop Rome's expansion. After her defeat by Octavian, later Augustus, Egypt became a Roman province in 30 BCE. With the Roman conquest, Egypt lost its independence, and the era of the pharaohs ended. Roman rule brought new administration and culture, but Egyptian traditions continued to influence religion, art, and architecture for centuries. Legacy of ancient Egypt. Ancient Egypt left a huge legacy for the world. Its art, architecture, and culture are still admired today. The pyramids, temples, and monuments stand as a testament to their advanced skills in engineering and planning. Egyptian writing, medicine, mathematics, and religious ideas influenced later civilizations, including Greece and Rome. Even today, the fascination with mummies, pharaohs, and hieroglyphs continues to inspire historians, archaeologists, and travelers. The story of ancient Egypt shows how humans progressed from simple societies to advanced civilizations, building culture, knowledge, and achievements that lasted thousands of years. Ancient Egypt's history is a long and fascinating journey. From the early humans in the Sahara to the great pharaohs and the final days of Cleopatra, Egypt developed into one of the most remarkable civilizations in history. The Nile River shaped life, religion guided daily activities, and pharaohs ruled as both kings and gods. Egyptians built pyramids, temples, and tombs that still amaze the world. Though Egypt eventually fell to the Romans, its culture, art, and knowledge continued to influence generations. Studying ancient Egypt helps us understand human creativity, perseverance, and the desire to leave a lasting legacy. It reminds us how a civilization can thrive for thousands of years through innovation, faith, and connection to the land. If you enjoyed this journey through ancient Egypt, make sure to like, comment, and share this video. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories from the past that continue to inspire the world today.